Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Senator.
Thank you.
And you just came out with a new book, and one of the key points in the book, you mentioned how Congress has delegated its authority to government bureaucrats. I was wondering if you could expand upon that a little bit, and also, what is a recent example where American people may have been seeing this go on?
Sure. So, for several decades, Congress has been increasingly inclined to delegate a lot of its lawmaking power. So rather than just making a law, they'll assign the task to a particular government agency of coming up with laws. For instance, several decades ago, Congress passed a law that said basically we shall have clean air, and the EPA will get to decide what clean air is and what pollutants are and how much of each pollutant can be admitted into the atmosphere. And after a particular polluter has done something wrong under those regulations, that same agency, EPA, will be able to enforce the law against them. And so the Clean Air Act has done a lot of good things to clean up the environment, but we should have gone through a different process. We should have had Congress actually making the rules that would govern the American people. This is one of many, many examples I can point to where Congress in many instances is acting necessarily to combat some kind of threat to our well-being, but it's not making the law. And I think we should get back to a place where Congress is making the law rather than outsourcing that to other agencies.
Do you see the courts in some sense taking up a legislating responsibility as well?
In some instances, this shows up that way. In some instances, Congress will pass a broad law, and then it sort of leaves it to the courts to interpret how those will be carried out, how those laws will actually operate.